Hello, hope you're doing well tonight. Before we begin, get comfortable. Turn off the lights, wear one earbud, and let your imagination sink deep into the shadows. You're watching Night Fright, where real people send in their scariest, true horror stories. If you have a nightmare of your own to share, send it to us. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and like this video if you enjoy the feeling of fear before sleep. This first story was sent to us by Daniel from Nevada. Story 1. The room that shouldn't exist in 2018, I was on a long solo road trip through Nevada. It was getting late, and after nearly 10 hours on the highway, I pulled into this tiny roadside motel just off the main interstate. You know, the kind faded neon sign, only a couple of cars parked out front and a dusty front lobby with old vending machines humming in the background. I was just looking for a place to sleep, nothing more. The woman at the front desk didn't say much. She handed me a key and told me I'd be in room 209, second floor, end of the hallway. I took it without thinking, paid in cash, and started walking down the corridor. But here's where things got weird. As I reached the end of the hallway, I noticed the room numbers. Jumped from 207 to 211. There was no room 209. I thought maybe I missed it, so I walked back down, counted each door, but it really wasn't there. I went back to the front desk and told her, "Hey, I think you gave me the wrong key. Room 209 doesn't exist." She looked confused at first, then nervous. Then she said, almost whispering, "We haven't used that room in years." I showed her the key again. It clearly said 29. She just froze. Her face went pale. Then she walked into the back office and didn't return. And that's when I saw it. A door that hadn't been there before. Right between rooms 27 and 211. It was room 209. It wasn't a normal door. Dark wood, cracked frame, no number on it anymore. It was slightly open, like it was expecting me. I know I should have left. I know that. But something pulled me toward it. Don't even remember deciding to walk in. It was like my body just moved on its own. The hallway behind me faded into silence. I stepped inside, and everything changed. The room was wrapped in plastic. The bed, the floor, the walls, even the windows, like it had been sealed off. In the middle of the room, there was a single wooden chair, nothing else. I was standing there trying to make sense of it when the door slammed shut behind me. I ran back, grabbed the handle, but it wouldn't budge, and I heard it breathing. It wasn't mine. Slow, heavy breathing from the far corner of the room. The plastic in that corner was moving. Something was under it, shifting slightly like it was waking up. I screamed. I pounded on the door. I begged, and then everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I was in room 203. TV was on, my bag was there. Even my shoes were lined up neatly by the door like I had unpacked. But I didn't remember any of it. I still had the key to 209 in my hand. I checked out immediately. The front desk clerk was someone else entirely. A young guy who said room 209 had been sealed off after an incident years ago. He wouldn't say what, didn't ask. I got in my car and left that place in the dust. Still keep the key on my keychain, I don't know why. Maybe as proof I didn't imagine it. Maybe because a part of me thinks I was never supposed to come back from that room at all. And some nights, I dream of that plastic shifting and the breathing. And every time I do, I wake up holding that key. Story 2, sent in by Lily from North Carolina. I've never liked elevators. Not claustrophobic or anything. There's just something about being suspended in a box between floors that always freaked me out a little. But I never expected one to trap me like this. It was around 11 p.m., and I'd just finished a late shift at the office downtown. The building was practically empty. I got into the elevator on the 10th floor and hit the button for the lobby. The doors closed like normal, and for a second, everything seemed fine, but the elevator didn't move. Then, without warning, it dropped, just for a second, like something had let go and caught again. My stomach jumped. The lights flickered. I hit the emergency button, but there was no response. Just the low hum of the fluorescent light above me. Then the display above the door glitched. The numbers scrambled, flickering between floors that didn't even exist. One flashed for a moment. 13. My building didn't have a 13th floor. Suddenly, the elevator started moving, but it wasn't going down. It climbed slowly, groaning with every floor it passed. 11, 12. Then it stopped at 13. The doors opened. There was nothing but darkness beyond them. No hallway, no lights, no exit signs. Just a long black corridor that felt like it was breathing. I couldn't move. My body locked in place, heart pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. Then I heard footsteps, not running or rushing, slow, careful, and heavy. Coming toward me from the darkness, I slammed the door close button over and over, whispering, begging the elevator to shut. Just before the doors finally slid closed, I caught a glimpse of something. Not a person exactly, but a shape. Too tall, too thin. Its face was blurred like static on an old TV screen. The elevator jolted downward and dropped me at the lobby without another glitch. When I ran to the security desk to tell someone, they looked confused. They told me no one else had reported issues, and there's no button for floor 13. I quit that job the next day. Sometimes when I take elevators in other buildings, I feel the same pull, like something wants me to press that hidden floor again. I used to work the night shift as a security guard for a remote logging company deep in the woods of northern Utah. The job was mostly boring, just me, flashlight, and the endless sound of wind moving through the trees. The site had been shut down for the season, but they wanted someone to watch the equipment overnight. That someone was me. One night, around 2 a.m., I was doing my usual walk around the property when I noticed something strange near the old tool shed. The door was slightly open. I was sure I had locked it earlier. I thought maybe the wind had done it, so I went over to close it. Inside, everything looked normal, except for one thing. Someone had dragged a thick line of sawdust from the back of the shed all the way to the center, forming a perfect circle. In the middle of that circle was a small wooden carving. It looked like a man, but the face was twisted in agony, mouth wide open like it was screaming. I picked it up without thinking. The second I touched it, I heard a sharp crack behind me. I turned around, and the shed door slammed shut. The lights inside the shed flickered, then went out completely. I was locked in, pitch black. The air got heavy and hot like the room was shrinking. Then I heard it. Slow footsteps, walking in a perfect circle around me. But nothing was there, just footsteps and breathing, right behind me. I dropped the carving, and the sound stopped. When I finally kicked the door open and got out, I realized the sawdust circle was gone. The carving, too. All like none of it had ever been there. That was my last night working that job. I never went back, not even to collect my final paycheck. Story 4. Sent by Madison from Ohio a few years ago, I moved into a quiet little duplex on the edge of a small town in Ohio. The rent was cheap, and the landlord seemed nice enough. The only weird thing was the neighbor. I never saw them, not even once. The other half of the duplex always had its curtains drawn, lights off, and the mailbox was always empty. Still, I just assumed the place was vacant. One night around 11 p.m., I heard what sounded like furniture scraping against the wall next door. Like someone was shoving a heavy dresser or a table right up against the shared wall between our units. I paused my movie and listened. The sound happened again, then stopped. I figured maybe someone finally moved in and was getting settled. But over the next few nights, things got stranger. Sometimes I'd wake up to hear whispering coming through the vents. Not voices exactly, more like breaths that almost formed words. And once, just once, I heard a knock on the wall. Not random. 3 knocks. Perfectly spaced. I finally asked the landlord about the neighbor. He looked confused and said no one had rented that unit for over a year. That night, I put my ear to the wall and waited. And sure enough, just past midnight, I heard it again. Whispering, then soft scratching. Then something new. A long, dragging sound, like nails being pulled slowly across the wall behind my headboard. I bolted upright and slept on the couch that night. The next day, I went outside and peeked into the neighbor's window. Inside, the entire living room was covered in mirrors. Dozens of them, all facing inward, like they were watching something that stood in the center of the room. I moved out 2 days later. I didn't need my deposit back. I just wanted out.